Welcome back to Auto VIP, your go-to channel for everything cars, trucks, and the latest automotive buzz. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a subject that's been creating waves across car forums, YouTube, and social media. It's the 2026 Ford Focus and of course, the big question everyone wants to know, what about the price? Now, before we dive too far, we need to be upfront. There's a twist to this story, and it's important for you to know the facts before getting caught up in the hype. Here's the reality. Ford officially announced that production of the Focus is ending in late 2025. After decades of being one of the most recognizable compact cars on the road, the Focus is scheduled to roll off the assembly line for the last time in November of that year. That means, technically speaking, there is no official 2026 Ford Focus in the pipeline. If you head to Ford's press releases or industry news, that's the story. End of production, chapter closed, and no confirmed 2026 model. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite Ford making that move, the internet is buzzing with videos, concept art, and discussions about what a 2026 Focus could look like if Ford had kept it alive. Some YouTubers are even calling it Ford's bold new move, others are imagining a 400 horsepower Focus RS comeback, and plenty of auto fans are sharing renders of futuristic designs that simply don't exist in reality, or at least not yet. So today, we're going to explore this idea. Think of this as an exercise in imagination and possibility. What if Ford hadn't ended the Focus? What would the 2026 model be like, and how much would it cost? Let's start with design. The Focus has always been one of Ford's most balanced small cars, affordable, compact, yet fun to drive. If there were to be a 2026 Focus, it's easy to picture Ford modernizing the exterior with sharper, sportier lines. Think slimmer LED headlights, a more sculpted hood, and maybe a wider stance. Aerodynamics would be a priority, especially as more cars compete for efficiency in a hybrid and F-dominated era. Some enthusiasts even imagine it looking like a mini Mustang Mach-E, borrowing design cues from Ford's electric lineup but keeping that hatchback practicality intact. Now let's talk powertrain. In a realistic scenario, Ford would probably stick with hybrid technology. The current European versions of the Focus already introduced mild hybrid engines paired with Ford's EcoBoost motors. For 2026, the car could carry forward a 1.0-litre or 1.5-litre EcoBoost with a 48-volt mild hybrid system to maximize efficiency. That would keep it competitive in the compact segment, where fuel economy is still a major selling point. Of course, what really gets enthusiasts going is the possibility of performance versions. The Focus ST has always been a fan favorite, with its turbocharged punch and hot hatch personality. If Ford had continued development, a 2026 ST might have offered something in the ballpark of 280 to 300 horsepower, with tuned suspension, sport seats, and aggressive styling. And then there's the legendary Focus RS. Now, this is where speculation goes wild. Some creators online are dreaming up a 400 horsepower all-wheel drive Focus RS, with hybrid boost technology or even partial electrification. Imagine that, a compact hatch that could rival the likes of the Golf R, Honda Civic Type R, or even premium small performance cars. It's exciting, even if it's purely hypothetical. Stepping inside, the interior of a 2026 Focus would likely follow Ford's latest tech trends. Expect a fully digital driver display, probably around 12 inches, along with a large central infotainment screen running the latest version of Ford's Sync system. features like wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto would be standard, as well as over-the-air updates. Safety and convenience features such as adaptive cruise control, lane centering, and automatic parking would make it into the lineup too. Even for the base models, the interior would have to feel modern, comfortable, and tech-savvy to stand out in today's market. Alright, let's get to what everyone wants to know, the price. If the 2026 Focus actually existed, where would Ford position it? We can look at current compact car pricing in the United States for a clue. Cars like the Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, and Hyundai Elantra all start somewhere in the $22,000 to $25,000 range. With Ford's pricing history and the added cost of hybrid systems, a base Focus could realistically start around $25,000 to $28,000. That would put it right in the fight with its competitors while giving buyers Ford's blend of style and tech. Moving up the ladder, a sporty Focus ST would likely land in the $32,000 to $35,000 range. That's consistent with other hot hatches and sport compacts on the market. It would offer more horsepower, stiffer suspension, bigger brakes, and a more aggressive design package. It's a price point that still feels accessible to enthusiasts, which has always been a key part of the Focus ST's appeal. Now for the dream scenario, a Focus RS. If Ford had pushed forward with a high-performance RS packing 400 horsepower and advanced all-wheel drive, the price would have been significantly higher. We're talking about the $45,000 to $50,000 ballpark, which would line it up with the Golf R, Civic Type R, and even some entry-level luxury sport compacts. It would be expensive for a Focus badge, sure, but die-hard enthusiasts would absolutely consider it, especially if it delivered serious performance numbers. But here's where we have to pull back to reality. As exciting as all of this sounds, Ford has clearly shifted its strategy. The company is investing heavily in trucks, SUVs, and electric vehicles. The Focus just doesn't fit into that lineup anymore, at least not in the United States. That's why Ford is shutting down Focus production in 2025. So the 2026 Focus you might see on YouTube thumbnails or social media posts is, for now, just speculation, concept art, on wishful thinking. That doesn't mean it isn't worth talking about, though. The Focus has been an important part of Ford's history, especially for those who love small, fun-to-drive cars. From the early models that became tuner favorites, to the ST and RS that brought European hot hatch excitement to the States, the Focus has built a passionate following. And maybe that's why so many people want to imagine a future for it, even after the official end. So what do you think? If Ford did release a 2026 Focus, would you buy one? Would you be more interested in a budget-friendly hybrid model, or would you hold out for a high-performance RS with monster horsepower? And most importantly, how much would you be willing to pay for it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we want to hear what the AutoMVIP family has to say. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. Remember, even though the 2026 Focus isn't a real production car, talking about it helps us explore the direction the auto industry is going, and it keeps the spirit of the Focus alive. Thanks for tuning in to AutoMVIP. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the cars you love.